Good morning, good morning. Today is June 20th, and we had some interesting moves on the last couple sessions. So I have the chart. I enable all the evening sessions so that we can see this evening session, because otherwise it would show us a gap. And then this is the holiday session, the short session. So we closed on Wednesday. Then overnight we had a pretty big range, and then on the holiday short session we had a drop below the break below the previous week's low happened during the overnight on Wednesday night, right? Then we kept, we were in the support area. Then we looked below. We took those two lows. Remember, I marked these two overnight sessions. I said, that we're probably gonna test this because they were never tested during RTH, but then we looked below those during the RTH on that short session, which it kind of sucks because there were very few traders trading in that session, but it looked pretty bearish. We almost got to that 90-day point of control. We tested the 21 EMA, the 20 EMA, and then boom, look below and fell, right? So looking below the range, failing to hold below. Now we're seeing a huge move up, and now we're getting back above this resistance area, right? So I'm seeing this whole thing as the range, right, all the way to 117. So we should see a move up here within the next couple sessions. Or maybe today, I don't know. But today is OPEX, and OPEX could be interesting because sometimes we have this big OPEX days. Today is also futures. It's triple witching, right? So we have sometimes in days like this we see nothing for the first part of the day, and we just do nothing. Maybe we fill this area, we go back between these two high volume nodes, and we just chop around here, and then at some point we get an expansion of the range. But a couple of things that should happen. One is that we're back inside Wednesday's value. So as long as we hold above this 60.43, we should see a move up to value area high, which is a 60.72, right? Because we looked below, we fell, and now we're coming back inside value for this session. And then on the bigger picture, because like I said, look below and fell, look below the big range, we should aim for this area, the 6100 at least. That hasn't been retested, and that's value area high for this session right here, which is Monday's session. And then from there it's like back to the scenarios that I've been talking about the previous weeks, which was if you break above the 117, target is 6140. Probably not today. But now we had some pretty bullish news, which is Feds are talking about rate cuts in July. So let's see. Also, July tends to be one of the most bullish months of the year, so keep that in mind. We still have a lot of geopolitical risk, but so far the market doesn't seem to care much about that. That's about it. So holding value area low, targets value area high, and then look for continuation. If we break above the high from Wednesday, then look for 6080 to be the first area of resistance. Breaking above that targets this high volume node at right below 6100. And below, I want to see below this low volume node to think of a shorts, below 6036 or so, because we have this, this big area that we looked below, we looked above, right? So this should be the signal to go long. So unless we lose this area, this long is still valid. So if we accept below this, then this it's a little more iffy, right? So we might go back and test this previous week's low at 6017, and then see if we can, break below again and retest this area that we left. This poor little guy that we left alone. You can see it if I take out the evening session profiles. Like you can see, there's a gap there. Now we're gonna open with it's inside the range, but there's a gap if you compare it to that previous session, which is a holiday session. So I don't know how relevant this short session is, but it's something to keep an eye on. NQ, similar. Look below, fell. Now we're back to almost back to the 20-day point of control, which is at 2260. And then we have all these references, right? Like we've been one time framing down, and then once we take this high, then we could see a little bit of a squeeze higher and back to the top of the range. Crude. So remember this crazy day? So we accepted prices up here, and now we're slowly grinding up. We tested the top of that range, and buyers couldn't continue. So now we have this range that's been established. It's being established, right? So we have a balance here. So 2340 is the magnet. So any push above or below that fails to hold, we're probably gonna come back into that 7340 area. Gold. So gold, after looking above and failing to hold above this low volume node, came back, and now slowly it's kind of doing like the opposite of crude. It's slowly coming down. Lost the 3400, which is something to keep an eye on, and then we should see some support in this 3300, 3310. But you see how it's obviously on an uptrend, right? So if you take a line, right, and you just kind of like connect it there, we should start seeing some returning to the trend soon. If it doesn't, watch this low right here, 3312 or so, because if we lose that, then we're probably gonna attempt to test this 3265. Otherwise, if now we start turning the magnet to the upsides, are 3385 and then 3405, with some resistance right below 3430. All right. Also, there's a play that I spoke about this a while ago, but on OPEX days we usually see some shorts taking control right below 930, right below the open. So usually you can get a few points. Sometimes it turns into a nice short. So watch that around 925. See if you can if it sets up for a short. Right now we should see price holding around 60.50, but if it loses it, then we could see a short all the way back to 60.36, right, which is that support that I mentioned earlier, that line in the sand, right? So if we do get that short, I would target, the first target would be here, the high volume area, and on this part of the distribution from the overnight session. Let me show it here. So right here, 60.42, and then we should see some buyers step in right ahead of the 60.36. If that doesn't hold, 60.20, 60.18, right? Unless between now and 9.25 we get all the way to value area high at 60.72, then from there, if you see a short, then we could hold around this 60.50 area. So watch for that. All right, good luck and have a great weekend, and I'll be around here.